What's up, guys? My name is Zensha or Zach, and in this video, I want to talk about the genesis, the process, the production of Animal Crossing Remix album at the end of the days that myself, and my friend Eli worked on last year, and I will be making it public today, hopefully. You can think of this video as kind of like a mini documentary, kind of on the process and on all the things that went into it, all the happy, all the sad, and all the craps. So hopefully, if you're interested in the album, you'll find this interesting. If you're interested in making a Kickstarter album, this will probably have some beneficial information for you. I'll be showing off like some of the older versions of tracks that didn't make it that are pretty different than the current ones on the album, as well as some songs that didn't make it in, like a remix of Kicks theme from like the shoe store in New Leaf that I started but didn't end up finishing and didn't put on the album. So let's do this. So last year around my birthday, actually in August, September time, me and Eli had another Kickstarter actually called Shinshu in Bloom, which was an Okami remix album. Okami soundtrack is fantastic, so I highly recommend checking out their soundtrack as well as our Kickstarter. So that was the first one we did, and immediately following that, we were thinking, okay, so what's the next one? I actually tried tackling a couple other games. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, for instance, that soundtrack, I actually went to that first, trying to see if I could do some stuff there, but that's a tricky one, and I keep trying to get good remixes out of it, but it's not so easy. So I ended up actually stumbling upon of Animal Crossing because the instrumentation is actually it fits snugly into the kind of music I wanted to make, and also it's just awesome. So that was a pretty good inspiration to choosing it. So the first thing I did was I did like a demo just to make sure that like, okay, these tracks sound cool when they're done with like with like a hip hop beat under them. So I took 1 PM, which is from New Leaf, threw a simple drum beat on that, added a bass line, and this is what that sounds like. And we use this as basically a proof of concept to say, hell yeah, these can sound pretty good. So after the completion of that 1 PM demo, I started getting to work on the actual tracks. And the first full remix I did was with the 1 AM theme, which I actually think is my personal favorite song, I think on the album and actually in the entirety of Animal Crossing. For some reason, it really, really like connects with me. So I tackled that one first, and I thought it came out really cool too. Following that, I did 11 PM from New Leaf, which is also a really cool track, called it Isabel's Story on the album. I did 10 PM from City Folk, which was what we call Midnight Sands. We did Club Lol's theme, which we've called Cataclysm, and I actually did some singing in it, which I am deathly afraid of. Not deathly, but we'll see how people like that or not. And the intro to Wild World was the fifth one we did then. And in that one, I actually played guitar on it, as opposed to the other four, which I just mentioned. I did not play guitar. Those were 100% synthesizers and editing the beats. And actually, that was initially going to be at the end of the days. It was going to be those 5 tracks. I couldn't find other tracks at the time that I thought fit the mood I was going for with these. And on the album, you'll listen to it and you'll realize those 5 tracks have a more cohesive sound, I think, than the rest of the album because I made them at the same time. And this was actually a year ago. This was in December 2013. I started all these. So like, it's been a while. I mean, it took like a year basically to get everything done. And part of the reason was that I wasn't comfortable putting out a Kickstarter with 5 songs on it. I was basically coming to terms with whether or not that was like acceptable, or whether or not it was worth it. I actually tried a lot of songs. Here's my source folder. You can see these are all the songs I actually were trying to remix. At one point I would download these and try to put them in my software and see if I could get anywhere with them. Some of them I actually did get a little bit of work in, and let me show you those actually right now. We're gonna go over the 3 songs here that one of them got in the final version got in the album, but the original version had a lot of trouble with, which is 7 PM from New Leaf. The other two are Kicks from New Leaf and the main theme from the Animal Crossing GameCube game. Those two didn't make it in because I was struggling to make something more, or not more interesting, but something like interesting enough that's different enough from the original that it was worth doing. So those got passed on, but we can take a listen here to see how far I got with them. So let's start with 7 p.m. So for those who've heard it on the album, you'll realize this is much more laid back than the final version. And there's like a groovy bass line that actually accompanies this section. It's much more upbeat in the final version. And this part is actually more reminiscent of the final version. Same percussion elements arranged differently, and the snare kick pattern is a little more forward here. So this will be Kicks. I didn't actually get farther than that, but as you can tell, that was pretty much just Kicks with I cut it up and arranged the song differently. I cut the beats in the song and just kind of made an edit out of them. But while it's cool, I don't think it's substantially warranting of its own version. Although I did have fun doing air piano. And this is going to be GameCube theme song, which I basically just tried to add instrumentation to it and a beat. Sound quality is not great because I wasn't focusing on that at this point. So eventually, Eli and I decided, or I guess I decided, and he came along begrudgingly, that we were gonna do the Kickstarter after a year because we've been talking about it all the time and constantly joking about when's it gonna happen. So we decided to start it, and actually we're planning on just doing that original 5 songs. It was actually gonna be 6 because Cataclysm has the vocals in it, and I made an instrumental version because I wanted people to hear it without my voice if they wanted to. So we started the Kickstarter like that, and marketing is hard. Like, promoting something, if you don't have like a concrete fan base or even a way to contact people in an efficient manner, it takes a lot out of you. So like the way I primarily got the Kickstarter album funded, well, there was a few things. One, so Animal Crossing is a really, really, really awesome community online, but a lot of places online don't want somebody to just drop in and be like, hey, I'm promoting something, because that's just, it's kind of sleazy. So while I actually ended up not doing a lot of promotion on some places because I would ask people, like there's a lot of Facebook groups that I joined and I asked, hey, do you guys mind if I promote this album on your Facebook page? And most of them said no, actually, which was disappointing, and it made it difficult. So actually a lot of my promotion came through some really, really guerrilla style work. I went on Tumblr and messaged probably every single person who had an Animal Crossing post about it. And I learned that actually most people were surprisingly receptive to it, and that there was a few people who were like really annoyed with that. Like, I guess that I was ruining their day by typing words at them. I mean, I understand it. So I was actually warmly surprised at how many people were happy that I was sharing this with them. But yeah, like I said, it just like I messaged probably thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people on Tumblr, just trying to spread the word and get people interested. Because like I know there's people out there who are interested in this stuff. I mean, the fact that it got funded proves that. I'm actually pulling up my backer report on Kickstarter right now. I'm gonna see if it tells me anything interesting. I mean, basically there was no one thing I did that blew it through the roof. So here's the actually the dashboard for the project, and you can see the growth of it. It's pretty much straightforward. Towards the end of Kickstarter projects is when things pick up usually, because people want to get in, so that's why it increases a little bit towards the end. It goes at like a 30-40 degree angle. But it's pretty stagnant at sometimes for like a few days, because like I would just get so like worn out and like doubting myself, and I would just like not do anything, and then I would get like really motivated and then go on Tumblr and message people or Reddit. So here you can see refers. Actually, a decent amount of people came from Kickstarter itself. Average pledge amount. This is cool, some cool stuff. I hope they don't mind me sharing this. So here's actually where my traffic came from. Direct traffic, they don't tell you. I really don't know if that's where most of it came from. Search on Kickstarter. Tumblr, as you can see, out of all the people on Tumblr I messaged, only that many people actually came from Tumblr. Although Tumblr messages don't have links, so I'm not sure exactly what that means. YouTube, I did some promotion with the video, which I'll talk about in a moment, which is related to Reddit, Facebook, Friends, SoundCloud. I also put my stuff up on there. Twitter, message people on Etsy, which I'll talk about really quickly. Message people on DeviantArt. I went on all these different forums and things. We actually even changed the art halfway through. I'll talk about that in a little bit. First, I'll talk about why we changed the art. But first, I want to talk about Etsy and the Reddit thread I did. So I decided to message people on Etsy because there's a decent Animal Crossing community there with people making a lot of homemade stuff. So we went on there. I went on there. I messaged a bunch of people, and one user got back to me. The person was named Scala, and he made physical stationery based on the stationery in Animal Crossing, like the letters you would mail to people. And I thought those were really cool. And I was like, I wonder if I don't remember the exact conversation or how it happened, but I think I sent him or her the project, and they said they liked it, and then they offered a discount on the stationery. And I said, okay, that'd be awesome. I can write a message on one, and then I'll get some more to give people so they can do whatever they want with it. Let me go get the stationery so I can show you right now, actually. So I got the stationery. I got two. Since I actually originally wanted to ship this in winter, although I guess it's still technically winter, it's kind of at the end of it. I got this guy. And then because it's an album, I figured this is appropriate. So we got the melody paper, which is awesome. And I wrote a note to every backer in the Kickstarter on the snow one, like a personal note, to put their name and everything. And then I sent them the melody paper blank, so to confuse 100 people. No, actually, everybody that's gotten it so far has been like, "Why did you send me a blank thing?" And I'm like, "For you to use." But I guess I could have communicated that better. Since we're on the topic of Kickstarter bonus stuff, with the original Kickstarter, not the original, with Shinshu and Bloom, Eli and I had a special secret sauce that we gave with every package, and that was stickers. So we continued the tradition of sticker secret sauce, and this is the sticker sheet we ended up doing. Doing a selection of the fruit in Eli's awesome stylizing, and I think it's pretty awesome. So everybody who packed got a copy of these for free, basically. And then here's the CD that actually came in the end. Here's the final product. Pretty happy with it. Title, got the side, got the track list on the back. we made a continuous scene here. I don't know if you figured that out. Same thing on the inside. Let me arrange the CD so it looks like it's supposed to. CD's closed. So this is what the inside looks like. You got KK Slider enjoying the sunset on the pier. Cap'n must be away. And the CD is part of the scene, as you can see here. If you actually lift it, though, we did this cool thing where if you lift it, it's actually the same art, but we got a message and there's a balloon in the back. Let me show you closer. Just like a nice thank you for everyone who supported us. So that's the album town. So let's talk about the Reddit thread real quick because I've been talking about it the past minute. So one of the things I did was I wanted to go on the Animal Crossing subreddit and also promote myself there. I had actually posted a video prior to this thread, but it wasn't received well, and I don't know. I guess I think I was just like, I don't remember the inspiration that day, but I remember it was a Sunday, and I was just like, I'm gonna make people happy today. So I said, I made this thread here, as you can see. What's your favorite Animal Crossing song? Any game, I'll remix it. Well, here I did 5 remixes here. Forest Life Bubblegum KK, which got a lot of listens, which was awesome. At the top, here's an example of a previous remix I've done, which was my way to slyly promote myself in this, because that was the point. Although I had a lot of fun doing these remixes, and the funny thing is, this is actually how I ended up making a 15-song album. Was doing these remixes broke me out of like the mood I was trying to set with those original 5 tracks and really expanded like the way I saw the music in this game. So I actually ended up doing another 10 tracks, and KK Bossa got on it. Also, most of these remixes actually got on the final album. Forest Life didn't make the cut. Bubblegum KK made the cut. Steep Hill made the cut. Stale Cupcakes made the cut, and KK Bossa did in fact make the cut. This thread was awesome. It was a lot of fun. And that was a really important part of the project, because I felt a lot more confident having like a full album of songs, basically. So after that is when we ended up putting the track list up on Kickstarter. I've been working on this video literally all day. You can tell in the beginning it's like sunny outside and I'm not like using any lighting, and now I have like my crappy lamp on. So somehow, after all the Reddit threads and the Tumblr messaging, all the work I put in, and we ended up hitting the funding goal, and that was incredibly awesome, and I was elated, and I cannot thank you guys enough for actually supporting us in making all that work worthwhile. I like really appreciate it. But then we have the headphone catastrophe. When you're done producing an album, you mix and you master it, although I tend to mix kind of like throughout. And so the problem is mastering here. So this is what happened. I use these headphones, which you've seen on my head, for some of the video, to do my production work, to do my mixing work, and do my mastering work, which I'm sure some audio people are going to yell at me for, but I don't care. And so this pair of headphones is not the one I started working on with. In fact, this pair of headphones, not this one. What is happening? What's going on? So what happened was these headphones I've had since like 2010. These are my first nice pair of speakers. These got me into like, I remember when I first got these and I put these on, I was like, holy crap, everybody, there's bass. Bass is a thing. And I did most of my learning and production in these headphones. And what ended up happening is that the frequency response, meaning like the way things sound in here, became wrong. So I was hearing sound higher than it should have been. What I mean is the high notes came off higher and the low notes were stifled. So I ended up compensating for that, right? Like if you only see, if you see everything blue shifted and you make a painting, you're gonna put less blue in it because you put blue in it. Does that make sense? So I actually ended up mastering this album a few times, trying to figure out what was wrong with the thing, because I would master it in my headphones. It would sound good. It would sound decent in my iPhone headphones, which I used as a reference pair. It would sound decent on it sound okay on my Mac setup pair. But then when I put it in my car, it sounded like it was underwater. And thankfully, I actually sent it to one of my friends who's a music guy, and he told me that, or his feedback was he can't hear anything in his tweeters, which is in a large speaker monitor. That's basically where the high notes come from. So that clarified the thought that there was something wrong. And I don't remember exactly how I identified it as being my headphones, but I remember I was like, okay, I think this is my headphones. I think this is the problem. I'm gonna go listen to some of my older stuff and see if it sounds like the higher notes are higher. And sure enough, it did, and I immediately went on Amazon and purchased this new pair, which I then which I then used to remaster the album another 3 or 4 times, because at that point you become so involved with the art that it's like hard to see it objectively. So I made like 1,000 changes, and it was a really unhealthy way to deal with it, but I had to. I mean, I wasn't gonna make something crappy. So I spent a lot of time on it. And this was actually at the end of last year. So I actually spent most of my winter break remastering and readjusting sounds and stuff for this album. Pretty much the entire break. Took most of that time. Following that, we have to get the albums printed. As I showed you, they came out pretty awesome, and we had ourselves an album. So then Eli and I got some. Actually, I made some soup, and then we packaged up all these albums, and then the mailing happened. That was very, very funny process because. Okay, so when I mailed Shinshu, I'm pretty sure each package was $1.50 for postage, and I stupidly just assumed I remembered correctly. So when we went to ship everything the first time, I put the postage on as $1.50. Promptly got returned to me. Like, I came home like a day or two later, and there was all 80 to 100 of the packages outside my front door in like 2 U.S. post office bins. It was kind of hilarious. I'm an idiot. You should always, and the post lady told me this the other day when we went back, which was always bring one package to them to make sure you get everything right before doing everything else. So get one good, perfect, know what you're doing, and then bring the other 90, 80% or whatever it is left. Yeah, that was really stupid. So some of you will get your package and you'll see like 30 stamps on them. That's why. So I'm going to wrap this up very quickly, but I want to talk about the art changes we made, actually, because the original album cover and album art was not the final. We changed it once, and the reason we changed it was because the original cover, as you see here, the original cover did not have a character on it, and I don't remember the exact thought process that came to it, but I came to the conclusion that to better connect with people for the Animal Crossing community, we needed to have an iconic character on it. Animal Crossing is a game primarily about the characters. If you look at all the fan art online, it's all about the characters. Clearly, Isabelle was a good choice because she's so popular. And I love her as a character too, personally. So I asked Eli to redo the cover with Isabelle on it. And he took the opportunity to change the style up a little bit. Same scene, we just changed the style, changed the perspective a little, plugged in Isabelle, and looks pretty awesome, honestly. I think it actually might be better than the original. They're both awesome. And then we went ahead and fleshed out the rest of the album art using the new one. So on the inside, you'll see KK playing guitar on the pier, as I showed earlier. It's awesome. But I actually want to show you some of the work in progress art that Eli did for the album, just to kind of give a behind the scenes on the visual art side of things here. So I'm going to start here by showing off some of the alternate covers that we initially went with. Because at the beginning you just play around with things, you see what you like. So here's a few of the covers that we almost went with. So this one, Eli was playing around with using a real leaf. I believe that was a real leaf or a real photo he found. And it has like the cutout shape, kind of like the Animal Crossing leaf. I thought it was cool direction, didn't really land that great though. So we moved on to some other stuff. This one is of I believe it's also real dirt he used. He was messing around with using real materials in the game. So here's one where it's brown and yellow, or real materials in real life to make the art. I believe that's real dirt, yeah. And I think he even cut that out. I don't actually remember, but some dedication right there. And here's another coloring. I think he just changed that. The last two actually were really awesome, but we ended up not using them either. Ended up going with the cliff scene because for some reason I was sold on the cliff scene, and when he showed it to me, I was blown away. So, but this one is of a sleeping Animal Crossing, or just eyes closed Animal Crossing girl. It says at day's end, actually, which was, as you noticed in the previous ones, was the initial title of the album before we changed it. And then, so I thought that one was actually really nice, and I used that one for a little bit before we searched and found the cliff scene. And then this one was cool too, kind of showing like the small island world that your Animal Crossing is set on, and reflects the night and day aspect of the game here. I really like the coloring. I think it's really cool. And yeah, actually, this one, not much to say. It just didn't hit the mood exactly for the music. The art itself is amazing. So we eventually moved on to this, which is the cliff scene. They first go at the cliff scene. We got the light. The bench didn't really fit in this angle, so we cut it. The clouds add for nice framing, and I really like the mood because I thought it fit really well with how the tracks were sounding. It also had just like a nostalgic, melancholy feel to it, which is basically the story of my life. Here's the same thing now with the name added, actually. Just it's funny how many times we actually just would position the name in different places to see where it fit. Here's a same version, pardon me, not same version, but same thing with a different coloring, a little green saturation instead, or a green shift. I don't know what the colored term is, I forget. So actually what ended up happening is after we decided to ship it, Eli went back and made it a little more atmospheric. You can tell this one is same scene. We've gotten rid of the clouds, added a moon. The lighting on the cliff is different. In fact, it is lit versus not lit, basically. And then the light post looks like it has the light coming off of it with this nice blur effect that gives it this real atmospheric, like, painterly look, which I think is really awesome. So we were going to go with that until I called for Eli to make a change of the art where we had the characters in it. So once I asked him to put the characters in, basically we... There was three iterations, one of them being the one that's on the album right now. But the other two was this one, which is a really cool sunset atmospheric shot of Isabelle in the distance. And I fell in love with this one, but like the coloring is great, the styling is great, the location of the album title and like the arrangement of the piece is awesome, but and the music note that's above her head, like she's like chilling and singing or something. But the thing was, like, if we were gonna go for having a character on the album, and I wanted it to be more recognizable immediately. Clearly, if I told you this was an Animal Crossing thing, you could probably figure out that's Isabelle, judged by the hair. Got a little bell on her head. That's why she's called Isabelle, because she is a bell. I hope I didn't blow anybody's minds, or I hope I did. And here's another version of the same thing where Eli said he deleted a layer on his Photoshop file, and it ended up actually kind of looking kind of neat. A little broken, but a little cool. Shows her full laying position. She's like resting on her hands. So I thought these were cool. But again, not icon, or the characters weren't up front enough. So we landed on this one next. Kind of bubbly look for Isabelle and KK Slider. I forget exactly what I said to Eli here, but it kind of looked like with his eyebrows being down, it kind of looks like he's like playing some like serious Spanish flamenco music or something, or like trying to like seriously serenade Isabelle. But after that, we went ahead and went with this sketch, which I was like, this is it. You know, this is simple. Characters are there doing its work. Clearly in the final one, we cut KK out of here because compositionally wasn't working. But Isabelle leaning over, looking over into the distance was like the perfect setting for it. So we plugged KK in actually to the inside of the album. Well, actually, here's a light sketch of trying to fit KK. I think we were talking about putting him on the fence here, trying to figure out a place for him. Just wasn't working out. So we ended up saying we'll just put him on the inside cover, playing on the pier. So here's a sketch Eli did of KK on the pier, looking out into the distance. Really cool. Again, I was like, I think we need to show his face. It's pretty clear, like, it's a dude playing a guitar, or, pardon me, a dog playing guitar, like, on an Animal Crossing album. It's pretty obvious who that is. But I still wanted it to be a little more clear. Here's actually a color rendering of that shot, though. He's looking out at a balloon, something we actually kept. So Eli took it a little extreme throughout this one, which is literally just KK, like, scene, and that's it. I was like, I think we should keep the pier. The pier was really cool. You know, keep it a little more grounded. But he, in an act of defiance, he sent me this, which is a, like, it just reminded me of like Hall & Oates or like some like old 80s montage where like the singer's face is in the front and then like also a shot of them in the back looking in the distance. But we ended up rolling with this one. KK chilling on the pier facing us. Got the words on the right, balloon floating in the back, and here's just an alternate coloring we almost went with. A little more sunset rather than purple. A little more orange. And yeah, that's the one we landed on for the inside. Got two more things to show you. We got the Kickstarter rewards, basically, and one of them was we came up with the idea to offer people to draw them as an Animal Crossing character, like a portrait. So here's Eli attempting that initially with a pixel style that he's so fond of. Him with a beard, and then him, or pardon me, this is me with a beard and a mustache, then me without a beard and a mustache, done pixel style. We decided it actually would be cool to do the pixel style as an in-game portrait. So here's the in-game portrait of that. So the $50 backers will be receiving this for their in-game, actually, which is cool. And then to use in-game, like a portrait. And then his actual portraits ended up looking like this, cartoony style. Here's a picture of me as a demo we did. I actually use this as my YouTube account because it's awesome. And here is me with a beard. Clearly not as... Let's just stop looking at that. And then finally, as I showed you earlier, we had the stickers, but the stickers actually had to change a little bit. Initially, we wanted to have a bass on the sticker sheet because in Animal Crossing, when you're fishing, there's always a fucking bass, and that is kind of a funny joke. So we thought it would be funny to just like be like, not you again, there's a bass on here, along with side with the fruit. I forget exactly why we chose not to. I think it was just like we wanted to have the words that said "not you again," but it didn't really fit on the single sticker sheet, and we didn't make enough in the Kickstarter to really make a lot of stickers. So we ended up going with fruit. This was actually the first fruit sheet we sent. Has all the fruit in Animal Crossing, I believe, and was sent back because we needed more space on the sticker sheet. There needed to be a certain amount of space between each sticker. So we ended up actually having to remove the mango, the lemon, and the guava, and the lychee, I believe. All right, that is our mini documentary. That is the story of At the End of Days. That is the grueling, awesome experience and process and production and art and everything that we did in order to bring this album to you guys. We're going to be releasing it for free. I believe I'll be putting this up tomorrow on Sunday because I'm going to need to edit it today, as much as I want to put it up today. The digital download of the album will be free. And I humbly ask you guys, if you've watched the video this far, if you really, really appreciate the artwork, to please pay for it. I will be setting it to pay what you want. And I understand... I'm trying to say this in a way that's not, I don't want to like, I'm coming to this new mindset with like my music production and the business side of things and like, and my website. I have a website. I don't know if you guys know that, like a blog where I teach music production, and I hate selling. I hate it, but dude's got to make a living. So it's like, how do you reconcile those things? And like the thing is, like, digital goods are technically free. Like, it doesn't cost anyone anything really to have bits transfer from somewhere to somewhere else. But that said, like, as this whole entire video explained, like, this took a year to make. And while I would much rather somebody download this and listen to it and connect with them than not get it. I also would like to buy Chipotle tomorrow, or get myself some broccoli, because broccoli is really awesome. Or maybe like the next Animal Crossing game when it comes out. So anyway, I'm not gonna sit here and panhandle, but I would really, really appreciate it if you guys would show your appreciation and show how much it's worth, and tossed us a few bucks or a couple hundred if you're feeling really generous. It'll be awesome. Honestly, I just wanted to, the real reason this was made was to connect with people and take an experience, which is Animal Crossing, this thing that we all love, that that impacts our life and makes it better, and just make it better. So I feel like I'm rambling. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it if you managed to watch all 30 plus minutes of this. Please share the album with people. I really, really want all Animal Crossing fans to hear this, because I think they'll all love it. And if you ever wanted to talk to me or Eli, if you guys want to just connect with us, which is the ultimate purpose of this, is just to connect with people. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm pretty active there, and I will respond to you. Or email me at zenshamusic@gmail.com. Through the Tumblr, which is shinshuandbloom.tumblr.com. I guess I'll put a in the description. I'll have places you can hit us up, because I would love to hear from you guys. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. Thank you.